Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And if you are joining us for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because today we are diving into a topic that I know resonates with so many people, and that is why we feel lazy even when we have not actually done any work. Like, have you ever experienced those days where you literally did nothing productive yet somehow you still feel completely exhausted and drained? And you just cannot muster the energy to do anything, and you might beat yourself up thinking that you are just lazy or unmotivated. But the truth is, there are actually legitimate scientific and psychological reasons why this happens. And understanding these reasons can help you be more compassionate with yourself and actually address the root causes instead of just feeling guilty. So let us jump right into this. The first thing we need to understand is that feeling lazy or tired is not always about physical exertion because your brain uses an enormous amount of energy even when you are not doing anything that feels like work. And in fact, your brain accounts for about 20% of your total energy consumption, even though it only makes up about 2% of your body weight. So just thinking, worrying, planning, and processing information throughout the day can be incredibly draining even if you never left your couch, and this is something called mental fatigue, which is just as real and valid as physical fatigue. But because we cannot see it or measure it as easily, we tend to dismiss it and think we should not be tired if we have not done physical work. Decision fatigue is another massive contributor to feeling lazy, even without work, because every single day, we make thousands of tiny decisions from what to wear, what to eat, what to watch, what to click on, and each of these decisions uses up mental energy and depletes our willpower, and this is why by the end of the day, even if you did not do anything productive, you might feel completely wiped out because your brain has been making decisions all day long, and this decision fatigue makes everything feel harder and makes you less motivated to do anything that requires effort or choice, and this is especially true in our modern world, where we are constantly bombarded with options and choices from streaming services to social media feeds to the endless scroll of the internet. Emotional labor is something that often goes completely unrecognized, but it is one of the biggest reasons people feel exhausted without doing any visible work, because emotional labor includes things like managing your emotions, regulating your responses to stress, worrying about relationships, processing difficult feelings, dealing with anxiety or depression, and trying to maintain a positive attitude, and all of this takes an incredible amount of energy, but because it happens internally, most people do not recognize it as real work, and this is why you can spend an entire day doing nothing productive. But if you spend that day worrying about a difficult conversation or dealing with anxiety about the future or processing grief or disappointment, you are going to feel absolutely drained. Because emotional processing is exhausting work that your brain and body are doing even if nobody else can see it. The impact of poor sleep quality cannot be overstated when it comes to feeling lazy, because even if you spend 8 or 9 hours in bed, if the quality of your sleep was poor due to stress, sleep apnea, restless legs syndrome, or just tossing and turning, then you are not getting the restorative rest your body needs, and you will wake up feeling tired and unmotivated even though you technically did not do anything. And poor sleep affects everything from your mood to your cognitive function to your physical energy levels, and it creates this horrible cycle where you feel too tired to exercise or be productive, which then affects your sleep quality, which makes you even more tired the next day. Chronic stress is another huge factor that makes people feel lazy even without doing work. Because when you're under chronic stress, your body is constantly producing cortisol and adrenaline, which keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert, and this is incredibly taxing on your body and brain, and over time this constant state of stress leads to what is called adrenal fatigue or burnout, where your body just cannot keep up with the demands anymore, and you feel exhausted all the time, even when you are not actively doing anything stressful. And the thing about chronic stress is that it does not have to come from big dramatic events. It can come from ongoing low-level stressors, like financial worries, relationship tensions, job insecurity, health concerns, or even just the general state of the world, and all of these things add up and drain your energy reserves. Lack of physical movement paradoxically makes you feel more lazy and tired because our bodies are designed to move, and when we spend all day sitting or lying down, our circulation slows down, our muscles get stiff, our energy levels drop, and we actually feel more fatigued than if we had done some moderate physical activity, and this seems counterintuitive because you would think that resting would give you more energy, but the reality is that sedentary behavior leads to decreased energy production at the cellular level, and it also affects your mood and motivation, making everything feel harder, and this is why even a short walk or some light stretching can actually boost your energy levels, even when you feel too tired to move. Poor nutrition and dehydration are often overlooked causes of feeling lazy, because if you are not giving your body the right fuel in the form of balanced nutrition with adequate protein, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates, and micronutrients, then your cells literally do not have the resources they need to produce energy. And similarly, if you are even mildly dehydrated, it can cause fatigue, brain fog, and decreased motivation, and many people walk around in a state of chronic mild dehydration without even realizing it, and they wonder why they feel so tired and sluggish all the time. And the modern diet full of processed foods, sugar, and caffeine can also cause energy crashes throughout the day where you feel wired and then suddenly exhausted even though you have not actually exerted yourself. Depression and other mental health conditions are major reasons why people feel lazy without doing work, because depression in particular is characterized by low energy, lack of motivation, difficulty concentrating, and a general feeling of heaviness or fatigue. And when you are depressed, even the smallest tasks feel overwhelming, and you might spend the whole day in bed or on the couch. Not because you are lazy, but because your brain chemistry is literally different, and you do not have access to the neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin that drive motivation and energy, and calling this laziness is not only inaccurate, but it is also harmful, because it adds shame and guilt on top of an already difficult mental health struggle. Digital overload and constant stimulation from our devices also contributes significantly to feeling tired without doing real work, because when we spend hours scrolling through social media, watching videos, reading news articles, and jumping from one piece of content to another, we are bombarding our brains with information and stimulation, and while this might feel like relaxation, it is actually quite taxing on our cognitive resources, and it prevents our minds from getting the real rest and restoration they need. And this constant state of partial attention where we are never fully focused but never fully resting is exhausting, and it leaves us feeling drained, even though we feel like we did not do anything. Lack of purpose or meaningful engagement is another reason people feel lazy, because humans are wired to need a sense of purpose, and when we spend our time doing things that feel meaningless or unfulfilling, even if those things are not physically demanding, we end up feeling depleted and unmotivated because there is no sense of accomplishment or progress, and this is different from physical tiredness. It is more of an existential fatigue that comes from feeling like you are just going through the motions without any real direction or meaning. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies, particularly in things like vitamin D, vitamin B12, iron, and magnesium, can cause significant fatigue and low energy, and many people are deficient in these nutrients without knowing it, especially if they do not get much sun exposure, eat a restricted diet, or have absorption issues, and these deficiencies affect everything from your energy production at the cellular level to your mood to your ability to focus, and they can make you feel exhausted and lazy, even when you have not done anything physically demanding. Hormonal imbalances, including thyroid issues, low testosterone in men, estrogen fluctuations in women, and insulin resistance can all cause persistent fatigue and low motivation, and these are medical conditions that have nothing to do with laziness or willpower, but they often get dismissed or overlooked, especially in people who do not fit the typical profile for these conditions. And if you have been feeling persistently tired and lazy for an extended period, it might be worth getting your hormone levels checked by a healthcare provider. The comparison trap that social media creates also makes us feel lazy, because we are constantly seeing other people's productivity, their achievements, their perfect morning routines, their workouts, their side hustles. And it creates this impossible standard where anything less than constant productivity feels like laziness and is external pressure, combined with our own internalized beliefs about productivity and worth, can make us feel guilty and lazy even on days when we genuinely need rest, and this guilt itself is exhausting and it perpetuates the cycle of feeling bad about feeling tired. So what can we actually do about feeling lazy when we have not done work well? The first step is to stop judging yourself and recognize that tiredness and low energy are signals from your body and mind that something needs attention, whether that is better sleep, more movement, improved nutrition, stress management, mental health support, or just genuine rest and recovery. And instead of pushing through or feeling guilty, actually listen to what your body is telling you and address the underlying causes. And this might mean setting boundaries with technology, creating a better sleep routine, moving your body regularly, eating more nutritious foods, seeking therapy for mental health concerns, getting medical tests done to rule out deficiencies or hormonal issues, or simply giving yourself permission to rest without productive output. And remember that rest is not something you have to earn. And you do not have to be productive every single moment of every single day to be valuable as a person. So there you have it, the real reasons why we feel lazy even without doing work. And I hope this video has helped you understand that what you might be calling laziness is often actually your body and mind crying out for something they need, whether that is rest, recovery, nutrition, movement, purpose, or support. So please be kind to yourself, stop the negative self. Talk about being lazy and start paying attention to what you actually need. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content about mental health, productivity, and well-being, and let me know in the comments what resonates most with you, or what you struggle with when it comes to feeling tired without working, because I love hearing from you all and building this community together. And remember, you are not lazy, you are human, and you deserve compassion, especially from yourself. So until next time, take care of yourselves, listen to your bodies, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.